YouTube, what it is, it's your boy Diesel from Dieseltv. What's going on, family? How we doing today, man? I hope y'all are doing good this Sunday. Y'all know it's time for the POPO Show, man. So we got some things to talk about today. I got a little bit of smoke for some people, all right? So I want you guys to prepare, man, because I'm wanting some people to come up and talk to me about this situation that we have. We're going to talk about a little bit later, all right? Before we go there, though, you know, I have to start off my show. I always start this show off with the Officer Down Memorial. All right. We had 3 officers passed away this week nationally. So let's go ahead and recognize these officers. let me get my stuff right real quick. Deputy Hacker passed away in a training accident. Wasn't a training accident, passed away in training. He had some prior medical issues that he passed away from during training. He's been in law enforcement for 3 months, man, and he passed away in some training. Reserve Deputy Joseph Johnson passed away in a traffic stop. He was stopping a vehicle, and he passed away. Somebody shot him during that traffic stop, and he passed away. He was a 12-year veteran of his department. Officer Josh Owens. He got killed on a domestic violence call on his 44th birthday. 15-year vet of his department, and he was on a domestic violence call, which you guys know that's probably one of the most dangerous calls we go to. And it was his birthday, and he was shot and killed. So condolences go out to all the families of these fallen officers for this week. Our prayers are for you, and we just want to recognize them. All right, let's get to it, guys. All right, let's get to it. All right, moving on. Okay, so I got a little bit of smoke. Man. So you guys know I only do one live a week. That's on Sundays at 4:00. I do this one live, right? And I try to pay attention to what's in the news for the day and the things that are going on. I mean, for the week, and the things that are going on throughout the week and stuff like that. And I got some smoke for some people, man, because I saw some Instagram posts. I saw some other things that were happening when it came to this post. And I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but did you guys see the video of the student fighting that teacher that took her phone? Did you guys see that? That's what I want to know. Did you guys see this post right here? That's what I want to know. Did you guys see the post where the teacher took the girl's phone and she ended up having to defend herself against this little girl? That's what I got smoke about. I got a lot of smoke about this, man, because some of the comments that I saw, some of the videos that I saw when it came down to it, I was like, yo, like, what are we talking about here? All right. And I think this is part of the problem in the community when it comes to authority and the community when it comes down to it. All right. So Brian says no, he has not seen it. So, but we're gonna go through this video. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this video down. We're gonna go through it, and basically, I'm gonna show you guys and give my opinion about how I feel about this whole little video right here. Hold on, let me find it real quick. Let me find it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna give a breakdown of this video. So basically, this is where the video starts. It's one of the students in here, and they are actually filming this video. I can't show the whole video because I'll show you guys where I stopped it at. But basically, there's a point where they're both on the ground, and all you see is cheeks. All you see is cheeks because the teacher here, she has on a dress, so all you see is cheeks. So basically, the student had her phone in the classroom, and the teacher took her phone. And this is what it comes up to. After the teacher has taken her phone and the student is getting rowdy and all that stuff, the teacher goes back to her desk and she tries to call for help. So let's watch it real quick, and then we'll go.
That's my shit. Why does the rules not apply to everybody else? That's my phone. No, you did not keep nobody else's phone. And you finna give me my shit. Don't touch me. That's on my phone. Don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me, girl.
All right, so that's why I stopped it there. Okay, I stopped it there. And the reason why I stopped it there is because, like I said, it goes down. It goes down, and all you, once they fall on the ground, all you see are straight up cheeks. All right. So I just want to talk about this because this came out. I don't know. This might have happened early in the week, and I've seen a lot of response on and videos on, you know, how people think about what happened. The teacher, they put the teacher on blast. They shared her YouTube, her Facebook account, and all that stuff. And they were just trashing this teacher. I mean, really just trashing this teacher. And I feel like, truthfully speaking, I feel like, you know, the teacher really didn't do anything wrong, truthfully speaking. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't think the teacher did anything wrong. All right. I think the teacher did exactly what she should have done. I can't say what I really want to say. Yeah, I can. I think the teacher mollywhopped that little girl. But anyway, moving on. So it really bothered me, and I'm sorry, guys. I didn't acknowledge anybody at the beginning of the stream. I just wanted to get into this because, like, this has been bothering me for a while, because this is the kind of things that we deal with as law enforcement. We have to deal with these kind of things when it comes to, you know, parents of kids and things of that sort. So that's why I really want to get it. I'm going to acknowledge you guys. Don't worry, especially Native Girl and Joe Morgan, my man, Brian Bridges. You know, he's here also. So I saw a post. One of the posts said, "I don't care what you do, just don't put your hands on my daughter." And that just, you know, I think that's one of the main, because those were the main posts of, you know, I don't care what you do, just don't put your hands on my daughter. When we can clearly see the person that started the fight was the daughter. The person that actually threw the first punch was the daughter. The person that was on my mama, you gonna give me my shit, was the daughter. Now, there's a going thing in law enforcement that we say, once a school resource officer, always a school resource officer. And the reason why we say that is it takes a special person, a special police officer, to be a school resource officer. Nobody really, you don't find many officers that want to be a school resource officer. I know an officer right now that wants to be a school resource officer mainly because he wants to coach the football team, and it would be easier for him to coach the football team of the high school if he was a school resource officer. But this guy is a go-getter. He will put somebody, he will yoke somebody up real quick. I mean, he will, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he ain't your typical school resource officer. But most school resource officers we see are more like counselors. They have the attitude of a counselor. And that's why we say once a school resource officer, always a school resource officer, because in the streets, a lot of the school resource officers are liabilities because of how they handle themselves. That's why they're put in schools. So when it comes down to it, I've never wanted to be a school resource officer, because every time I go to that high school, I have to deal with some old mismanaged chap that don't know how to daggone act right. And then once you put your hands on them because they want to be grown, you put your hands on them, everybody wants to complain because it's a child. And these kids are like 16, 17, 15, you know, high school age kids. And everybody wants to have an opinion about a child acting like an adult and getting treated like an adult. And I think it's a huge problem. This is the problem that I have with it, is when you have when you've told your child, nobody better touch you, and your child feels like they can go and touch somebody else and not be touched, this is what happens. I wish a parent would come to me and try to start something with me, because they can get faded if they want to start something with me after their child and try to hit me, and I had to bust them in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I wish I was a teacher, something like that had it happen, and any parent that wants to stay can get faded. I don't care. They will get faded. If my girlfriend was a teacher and she had to defend herself against these little grown people, and then a parent wanted to come and step to her, especially if it was a man, bro, I'm sorry, you have to talk to me. I'm sorry, because you should have taught your child better. Now, if you guys agree with me or not, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, let me know you don't agree with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. I think this is a big correlation of how adults act towards law enforcement as well, because they act like this in school, and then they get in the real world, act like they can act like this in the real world. I think this is a huge correlation in how adults act with law enforcement, because they know their mama is going to come and save them. Tuba Husky says she was throwing punches at that little girl. I think she should have. I think she should have boxed that little girl out her shoes. I think that lady, that grown lady, I don't think that little girl should have ever thrown the first punch. Truthfully speaking, why is this little girl behind the teacher's desk? For a cell phone? And this is where we're going to go into it. So this is where the video starts, right? It starts here with the little girl behind the teacher's desk. Why she's behind the teacher's desk, I have no idea, right? Now, as you can see right here in her right hand, or her left hand, I'm sorry, in her left hand, she has the girl's cell phone.
That's my shit.
In her other hand, she has the phone to the principal's office. She's trying to call somebody to come and get this daggone mismanaged old chap. That's what it is, a mismanaged chap. All right. So let me okay. Let me tell you how I used to treat my girls. If my girls got in trouble, or if they said the teacher was being mean to them or being unfair to them, I always went down a line of questions. Tell me what happened from the time you walked into that classroom to the time you felt like you were done wrong, mistreated, or whatever. And I also tell them, you know, I'm going to go talk to your teacher, so you better tell me the truth. Right? Now, I've never had this kind of problem with my girls before. Now, my daughter, my oldest daughter, who was born 3 days after my birthday. My birthday is October 5th. Her birthday is October 8th. And Toba, I'm going to get to your questions. She has the same attitude. She has a smart mouth. She is very rude. And the thing about it is, she really tries. She tries her hardest not to be rude, but she is rude and disrespectful when she talks to people. That's just how she is. You know, I've had to learn that lesson in my life, and she's trying to learn that lesson now. And her teachers would call me and say, "Hey, your daughter was being very rude. She said this or she said that." And then I would go to her and talk to her, and I said, and she was like, "Well, I don't feel like that's rude." And this is the thing about being rude. Being rude is more of an opinion. It's a person's perspective. You can't determine what that person sees as being disrespectful or rude. But what you can do is talk to people like you got some sense. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, I've always taught my daughter, if somebody says you're being rude, you're being rude. That's their perspective. Now, if you care or not, that's the thing. You know, I usually don't care if people think I'm being rude, especially if I'm in the line of duty. You know, if I'm doing my job or something like that, I could care less. Why are you being rude to me? Because you're not following my directions. You know, people say I talk loud. Well, that's your matter of opinion. I'm not yelling. You ain't heard yelling yet. Back to this girl. Why is she behind this desk? Over a cell phone that she's going to get back. Like, you know, them teachers can't keep your cell phone. We all know. I've had my cell phone taken in class before. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, and you always get your cell phone back. You might get written up for it, but you get your cell phone back, right? There is no reason for her to be acting like this over no daggone cell phone. And this is the problem that I would have with my daughter. I would tell my daughter right then and there, I wish she would have hit you right when you walked around that desk trying to get that cell phone. Because you ain't got no reason being behind there. So she says, why does the rules not apply to everybody else that's my phone? See, this is part of the problem that we have, is we think just because everybody else is doing it, you should be able to do it as well. I get this all the time when I stop vehicles. Oh, that person in front of me was speeding too. Why didn't you get them? Because I clocked you, sir. You're the one I clocked. You're the one I got on my radar. You're the one that I noticed that was speeding. You know how many people go past me that are speeding that I don't notice? It just so happened I noticed you. I think that's wrong that you just noticed me speeding and not everybody else. Well, I'm only one person. I can't catch everybody. And that's the same thing in this situation. There is no way. I'm pretty sure every student in that class got a cell phone. Some of them had it out, but they were good enough to hide it. She wasn't. And this day is the day you're going to get your cell phone taken for the class period. Like, what? I don't understand this. I don't understand how people can sit here and say that that teacher was in the wrong for what she did. I don't understand it. The aggressor, the 100% aggressor, is that girl. I don't understand it. Let me find this comment. Husky says, but I learned in America we are just natural violent, I feel. I don't think that's an American thing. I don't think that's an American thing. I think that's a human nature thing to be violent at times. But I don't think we are naturally just automatically violent. I think that violent comes when we want it to. The more comfortable you feel about violence, the more apt you are to cause violence. But when it comes down to it, you still have to get comfortable with it first. That's how I feel. All right, so I'm trying to go through the comments and stuff, make sure I don't miss anything. So I had a similar situation come up with my daughter. She got her cell phone taken. What my daughter did was she asked for the cell phone back. The teacher wouldn't give the cell phone back. My daughter went to the principal's office, called me and said, Daddy, my teacher took my cell phone and she won't give it back. And I cussed her raggedy. I cussed her out so bad. Why are you walking out of class to tell me your teacher took your cell phone? How does your teacher even know you got a cell phone on you? How does your teacher know you have a cell phone on you? Either it went off or you pulled it out, right? One of the two things. I ain't never seen in no class curriculum, a checklist, or anything beside crayons. It says iPhone 14. You know the list of supplies you got to get your kids at the beginning of the year every year? It says notebook paper, it has pen, it has crayons, book bag, all that stuff. All that stuff on there. I ain't never seen no list that said iPhone 14. I've never seen that before. And now the schools are giving out tablets, right? And the reason why they're giving out tablets because they don't want them talking on them like they cell phones. This is crazy. This is what we have to deal with as law enforcement. The same thing. She's going to turn into an adult and talk to a police officer like that. And then it's going to be a big old thing because she felt like she could talk to a police officer, walk up to the police officer, throw the first punch, and nothing was supposed to happen. You know, I saw one video. I saw one video of a cop. Female walked up behind him and hit him in the back of the head. Now, it wasn't a hard hit or nothing like that, but she was aggressive. She hit him in his back. He turned around and he suplexed that chick. He suplexed. Money went flying. She was unconscious. I saw that and I was like, yes, sir. That's exactly what needed to be happening. I bet you she won't do that again. I bet you she won't do that again. See, this is the time. This is the time for our kids to really learn how to navigate society, right? This is a time in school where they should be messing up. This is a time. That's why I never really, I let my daughter handle her own situations in class. If my daughter felt like she had, you know, her grades weren't right, or she felt like her teacher wasn't right or something like that, I would always tell my daughter, talk to your teacher first. Before I come to that school, you need to talk to your teacher first and find out if y'all can work it out without me coming up there, right? That's what I always told her. And if it came to a point where they couldn't work it out, I would go up there and we would have a conversation. So there was this one instance where I had to go up to the school because my daughter talked to the teacher, and my daughter came to me and she's like, well, she's just not listening. I don't feel like she wants to hear what I have to say. Oh, no, let me tell you about this other incident. So my daughter, man, this is the same daughter, the same one. My youngest daughter is not in high school yet. She starts high school next year, actually. But my other daughter, she was in school, and she kept on talking about this teacher that she just did not like. She did not like the teacher. She did not get along with her. She felt like the teacher was always picking on her, stuff like that. And I told her, I said, go talk to the teacher, see if y'all can work it out. She spoke to the teacher, and the teacher called me, and she was like, man, you know, I need you to come into the school and talk to me about your daughter, because I feel like she's just being very, very combative, you know. So I said, okay, listen, I'll come and talk to her. Has she done anything right now to get her written up or anything like that? She's like, no, not really. I just feel like I need to explain the whole situation to you. And I said, okay. I kind of figured it was going to be some bull because, you know, I didn't see a reason for me to come up to the school if she hadn't done anything to get written up for. We could have had this conversation over the phone. But anyway, I get up to the school. Me and my daughter are sitting there. And the teacher, after we have a little short conversation, the teacher says, I just feel like your daughter doesn't like me. And my daughter's right beside me, shaking her head just like this. And I said, I don't care if she likes you or not. She will respect you, but she doesn't have to like you. Like, this isn't a like me kind of situation. Who in the hell said that she had to like somebody just for her to get an A? As long as she ain't disrespecting you and she's doing her work, I don't need to be called. Y'all ain't friends? And that's exactly what I told her. So the teacher went to the principal and told the principal that I was the type of person. I was one of those parents that thought their child was always right. Now my daughter was a junior. The principal already knew who I was. The principal had to stop me one time from bringing a belt in that school because I was gonna show out. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I brought a belt up to the school. The principal was like, I'm gonna call the police. I said, I am the police. Call the police. I know I'm not breaking the law. I'm about to whoop my daughter's ass. And she said, please no, we don't need that. We don't need that. That'll ruin her. They'll pick at her for the rest of the year, all this and all that. And I said, well, bring my daughter up here and tell her what was possibly about to happen to her so we can make sure this don't happen again. Right? So the principal knew who I was, and the principal called me and she was like, hey, what is going on? Why is she saying this about you? What have you done? What did you say to her? And I told her the whole situation. I said, my daughter has friends. If she doesn't want another friend, she ain't gotta like her. And this lady's a grown-ass woman. Why does she feel like my daughter has to like her? And after I explained that to her, the principal was totally on my side. Talked to that teacher and told the teacher, it's probably best that, she just stays away and doesn't deal with my daughter like that. Try to deal with her on a personal level. Just teach the curriculum, give her grades. But this right here, it's just ridiculous. All right, let's go on a little bit more.
And you finna give me my shit. Don't touch me. That's on my mom.
Don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me.
Okay, look. Now, y'all saw the teacher shove her. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, that's when she shoved her. She shouldn't have put her hands on her and all that stuff. But there's only so many times this teacher can say, don't touch me, get away from me, and she's already in her personal space, right? How much do you expect these teachers to give, man? These teachers ain't making no money, for one. They don't hardly get paid anything. And then you expect them to take this kind of treatment from these kids, man. I don't know, man. I must be on a totally different planet or something. But I don't think the teacher did anything wrong. I'm gonna say it. That teacher should have pushed her back around that desk when she came around that desk. That shouldn't have happened. I wish we would give our teachers a little bit more power to defend themselves. There should be a clear barrier on what the teacher can do in defending themselves, because this right here, a lot of people thought this teacher was going to get fired for it. Thank God that the school had her back and she never got fired. Now, will she teach again? Probably not, because they put her on blast on Facebook and all that stuff. But thank God that the teacher did what she did and that the school had her back. Right? So like I said, you see where
no, you did not keep nobody else's phone. And you finna give me my shit.
Don't touch me.
That's on my mom.
Don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me.
So you saw where the teacher pushed her, and then the girl came with she came from a haymaker from Mars. I don't know what she was thinking, but she came with a haymaker from Mars. Teacher blocked it, and then the fight is on. Right? I don't know why I didn't put this on the big screen like that in the first place, man. Y'all gotta excuse me. Sometimes I just get away from myself. But anyway, so the fight is on. I think this is really the real reason why this bothers me, is because in the officer involved shootings and the officer involved where they say the officer went too far, the excessive force, all that stuff, there is a lead up to that point, right? And in almost every situation on these points, everything is ignored until the officer does what he feels like he needs to do. Same situation on this. Everything is ignored. In this video, we're at 17 seconds. There are 17 seconds of a lot that happened that has been ignored, and all they're saying is that teacher shouldn't have put her hands on that daggone girl. I think that's why it really bothers me when I look at this and I see the comments that was on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. And it was a bunch. It was a bunch. You know, I saw one guy on Instagram, and y'all see him in the YouTube. You see him in the 2A community. He was on Instagram and he said, "I don't care what you do. Don't put your hands on my daughter. This, that." And all I thought was, if your daughter acting like that, bro, I'm sorry, but she gonna get some hands put on her. And you can catch a fade too, bro. As I'm telling you right now, if anybody was to try to come and try to fight me because they daughter acting like that, I'm sorry, man. You're gonna have to catch that. You're gonna have to catch that. I ain't backing down from that one. Your daughter is a daggone terror. And you and I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So this is what I want to do. I want to open it up, allow people to come up, talk to me about this situation here. See if y'all want to have an opinion about it. I really want somebody to have a different opinion than mine, so I can understand what your mindset is with it. Now, if you have the same opinion of mine, that's fine. I mean, that is totally fine. But if you have a different opinion, I really want to know what your mindset is when it comes to this situation. Was the teacher wrong for putting her hands on this daggone child? Or was the child wrong for putting her hands on the teacher? I feel like the child was totally wrong. I wish the child would have carried a bigger ass whooping, tell you the truth. Because she think twice about it. She would think twice about it before she did it again. There's so many teachers that get picked on and bullied in these schools by these kids, and that shouldn't even be that shouldn't even be an option for these kids, right? I used to deal with a woman that, regardless of what the teacher said, her child was always right. And I had to stop dealing with her. This was when I was a little bit younger. A lot younger. But she went up to that school, and this was her kids were young. Can't even remember how young her kids were. But if the teacher would call on the kid about doing something in the class, and the child came home and said, "No, I didn't do it," she was going up to the school to say her child didn't do it. Knowing that these kids lie. These kids be lying like hell. Y'all know these kids be lying like hell. Ain't a truth bone in their body at most times. You know what I'm saying? Why these kids be lying? And you gonna believe what she say, what the kid says, instead of what the adult says, that you trust to teach your child what's going on. Look, that is just ridiculous. Don't make no sense, man. So like I said, man, Husky says, hey, unfair weight class. Good observation, sir. That is a very good observation. She was outweighed, but hey, listen, you climb that tree, boy. You might get knocked off. If you climb that tree, you might get knocked off. We got anybody wanting to come up and talk to me about this situation or any kind of other similar situations that might have happened? You know, my kids have always thought that I would believe a teacher over them. You know what I'm saying? That's what my kids always thought. You're gonna believe the teacher over us. They always right. We're always wrong. This, and that. And I always had to tell my kids, as long as you know your place, I will never take a teacher's word over yours. But once I find out that you've gotten out of your place and tried to act like an adult to an adult, I've got a problem. Joe Morgan says, imagine 20 years ago how things would be. I promise people would have different opinions pre-social media. I don't know, man. I don't know, because this kind of thing has been going on for a very long time, where kids have been looked at as being of never being wrong and the teacher always being right. And the main reason is because these adults, when they were going in high school, they were little fuck ups too. And the teachers would get them in trouble, and they were pissed off that the teacher would do certain things. So now they're adults and they don't believe nothing the teacher says. I know what I did in high school, man. I was a class clown. I was a class clown in school. I always had jokes. There was one teacher, man, I used to pick on him so much. And I look back now and it was like, yo, I didn't act like that with no other teacher. It was just him. And the reason why I did is because I felt like he picked on me. I felt like he picked on me. And he did pick on me. Truthfully speaking, he did pick on me. But there were countless times he would pull me to the side and be like, yo, bro, you better than this. You smarter than this. You don't need to be making these grades. Like, what are you doing? And then when he called on me in class, and because I wasn't paying attention or something, I felt like he was picking on me. And it wasn't because he was picking on me, it's because he knew I could do better, and he was trying to get me to do better. As an adult now, I can see that. You know what I'm saying? But back then, I ignored the fact that he was paying attention to me, and I just looked at it as him just picking on me. And this is the mindset kids have. You know what I'm saying? This is the mindset that these kids have when it comes down to it. Just like you saw that female say, you didn't take nobody else's phone. And that was one of my pet peeves with my girls. Don't ever come to me and say, well, you didn't do it for them. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. We're not talking about them. We're talking about you. Or the other person didn't get in trouble, so why am I? I used to hate, I couldn't stand when my girls would come to me and say stuff like that. I couldn't stand it. It was a big problem. You know what I'm saying? It's always been a big problem. And that's the reason why we have a problem when it comes to adults in law enforcement now. Adults feel like, a lot of people feel like they don't want to be told what to do. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do. And that's it, with no repercussions, no timeouts, no slaps on the hands, no tickets, no jail time or anything like that. That's why they feel the way they want. That's why they feel the way they feel, is because they don't want to be disciplined for the wrongs that they do. They just want to go ahead and do whatever they want to do and just be done with it. Right? So let's segue. And I want to do a few shout outs. Joe Morgan, appreciate you coming. Native Girl, Nadia's Lineal, appreciate you coming. Appreciate the support. Brian Bridges, I see you, man. You was the first one that messaged. Tuba Husky, what's going on, man? I appreciate you coming. Everybody, you guys know that there is a membership. If you want to become a member of the channel, go ahead and hit that membership. Y'all can send me cash apps, super stickers, whatever you want to support the channel, man. Everything supports the channel. It goes to a good cause of me buying more guns. Be able to show you guys some more guns, some more reviews and things of that sort. So the next video I'm going to have out, I'm going to do a video on complaints and some of the complaints that I've gotten. I've got the actual video of my interaction with that person and what they complained about, and show you guys how this thing works when it comes to a complaint and why, you know, it's one of those things. Well, it's one of those things where people complain just to try to get out of something. They think it's going to get them out of something, and you can see it clear as day when it comes to, you know, these sorts of things. Now, there is another video that I'm going to do as well, where I was talking to Tackleberry Bug. It was my first show. If you want to go back and look at that, I was talking to Tackleberry Bug. You guys know who he is. And he was like, how do you act when somebody say they're not going to give you their ID? I got a video of somebody actually trying that. And I'm gonna bring that video, and I'm gonna go through that video and let you guys see it, let you hear what he said. And it is exactly verbatim what I told Tackleberry Bug. Now, these videos were done a couple years ago. These videos are on body camera when I worked at another department, but I have the videos of them. I'm just working on trying to get everything blurred out, and so you don't see faces and you don't see tags and stuff like that. So that's all it is I'm trying to get to that point where I can actually put it on YouTube and it won't be a problem. Fragrance Journey, what's going on? How you been? How you been? Other than that, man, how's everybody else doing? Ray Official, what's going on, man? Let me see something. Let me see something. If y'all have any questions or anything, y'all go ahead and ask me. I need to look up something real quick. Just give me 1 second. I can't find it. There was a video that I was looking for that I can't find. I am gonna show some videos as well. I'm trying to get them together now, but there are some videos out there with me talking to another person about some law enforcement stuff on a YouTube live. It's on somebody else's channel, but I'm trying to get the videos now so I can review them while live, and I can show you guys the mindset of some people in the United States. Brian Bridges, I don't know if it's a question or a statement. He says the kids should be charged with assault. So this is the problem, and I said this before. This is the problem. Kids have no repercussions these days. The system set up for the juvenile system is set up to where the kid, if it's a regular simple assault, a fray or something like that, they don't even get a slap on the wrist. They won't even bring them into court. They won't scare them. They won't do anything. And I think that it needs to be switched around, because there are a lot of these kids that are going down the wrong road, right? And there is nothing to put them back on the right road. I would rather a kid at 14 go to jail until they turn 16 and think that the justice system is something not to play with than a 16-year-old going to jail for the rest of their life, because the whole time when they were a juvenile, nothing happened to them. Here in North Carolina is a little bit different now. You're a juvenile until you turn 18 now. So I think I wish that was a change. I wish that juveniles, they were a lot more strict on juveniles, because in jail, you can force them to go to school. They can learn everything they need to learn. They can get their GED, their high school diploma, whatever you want to give them, but they'll be forced to do it. You got kids right now, you got parents that have to go to court and talk to a judge because their kids skipping school for 30-something days out of the year. right? I think it's 11 days, and they start a process to where they have the parent come and talk to a judge and figure out why their child's not going to school. Diesel, both the teacher and the student were charged with simple assault. I don't think that's right. I think the teacher should have been teacher should have been given a self-defense, and the student should have been charged. Diesel, what is the most ignorant person you have dealt with in law enforcement? How do you handle it? There is a lot of ignorance. Joe Morgan, truthfully speaking, I can't even come up with the most ignorant. There is a lot of ignorance going on when it comes to me dealing with people. And the main thing that I feel like is the most ignorant is when I approach somebody. Okay, so when I approach somebody, I can tell if they've done something wrong just by the way they act. I approached this one guy, and I knew he was looking for dope. I knew he was looking for drugs. And all I was going to tell him was, hey, man, just go ahead and head on out, man. We don't need to deal with you no more. And he acted like a plumb asshole for no reason. Daryl Long, what's going on? Simp God, what's going on, Simp God? He is the Simp God. He is the Simp God. Daryl, come on up here, man. Let me holler at you real quick. Hit that button, man. Come on up here and talk to me real quick. Because Daryl is in Detroit. Daryl, come on up here and talk to me if you got the time. I don't know if you got the time or not, but if you got the time. Because Daryl has a different opinion when it comes to, he is a simp. He loves his women. Black women are queen is what he says. He is a simp. So I want to talk to Daryl about this situation with this daggone student and this female teacher. This female student and that teacher, if he thinks that the teacher was wrong or if the student was wrong. That's what I want to know, because I think Daryl might have a different opinion about my opinion when it comes down to it. Anyway, back to you, Joe. So when it comes down to dealing with ignorant people, man, there are a lot of people that are very ignorant when it comes to dealing with law enforcement. They tell on themselves. And the crazy thing about it is sometimes as a law enforcement officer, you just don't even want to deal with the person. You just want to get them out the area. And that's all you're trying to do. Hey, go ahead and leave, man. You don't need to be around here. Go ahead and leave. But then they make the situation so hard and difficult, you have to deal with them. Then you end up charging them or something like that because they want to be stupid. I feel early anger management is some sort of the most violent minded. I mean, not many of our girls, not many of the girls in the class would do the same. I think maybe it's very few in between that would do that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just on the pure fact that I've seen so many videos of students fighting teachers. I know majority of them don't do it, but there's one is too many for one. But there are too many kids out here thinking they can just do whatever they want. And the crazy thing about it is I got a kid in my area right now that I've had to put in the justice system. Let's say that. I've had to put him in the justice system for felonies, right? And how old is he? He is 14, 15, somewhere around there. And he is just so disrespectful. I mean, he is literally, if I try to talk to him, like Before I even had to charge him, I came to him. I said, "Hey, man, what's going on? I know y'all out here causing some mischief, man. Y'all just need to chill out." And his first words, "Don't talk to me." And I'm like, "Yo, you 14, bro. You don't determine if I talk to you or not. You're 14. Your mom determines that." So but I deal with that so much with these kids, man. Even when I go to the high school, you get these kids up here throwing up gang signs, yelling at the teachers. "I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. Don't put your hands on me. If you put your hands on me, it's on. Off gate." You know what I'm saying? Like, what the? I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I see this teen that I had to put in the juvenile system. I see him in court. And I walk up to his mom. I say, "Hey, mom, how's he doing?" And she just shakes her head. And I go to him and I said, "Man, bro, like, what's going on? Don't talk to me." He's still on. I mean, like, even more. "Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Get away from me. Get away from me." In front of the judge. And so the judge looks at him and starts shaking his head. And the prosecutor looks at him, starts shaking his head. And then his lawyer comes to me and said, "He's been doing good, this, and that." And I said, "Ma'am, it doesn't look that way." And I told his lawyer, I hope they put him away for a while. I hope they do. He's just a child. You don't need it. I said, "Ma'am, I would rather him be away now than have to go away when he's an adult. He needs to learn his lesson now." And I tell him this all the time. I tell all the parents this. I said, I don't take it easy on kids. I don't. I do my hardest to make sure the kid is put in the system early. So when they become an adult, hopefully they won't be back in that system. That's what I try to do. I'd rather charge a kid with 8 felonies and it just gets erased when they become an adult than to charge them with 1 felony and spend 15 years in jail. Any day. I would rather do that any day. Because that 15-year sentence, when they're adult and they get out of jail, puts them way back. I mean, when they get out of jail after 15 years, man, they are not going to be able to cope. They are not going to be able to get things done that they should be. That's why I'm so hard on these kids. And this is the kind of thought process that I wish a lot of people would have. I wish Armed Nerd asks a question. Felonies get erased at 18. Yes. As a juvenile, if you get charged with felonies, if you are not adjudicated as an adult, if you're not classified as an adult, it will get erased. It will get sealed at the age of 18 when you become an adult. Yes. These charges that I put on these juveniles were felony charges. They were major felonies. Nothing to do with guns or anything like that, but they were major felonies. And they have not been adjudicated as adults yet. But I don't think they're going to put them in any kind of facility either. I think they're going to make them do house arrest or something like that. I don't know yet. I don't know for sure, but I think. But yes, as a juvenile, your juvenile record is sealed. And anything that happened in your juvenile record, as long as you're not deemed as an adult, and usually the only thing that turns you into an adult as a juvenile is something like murder, or if you've done a bunch of robberies, or something dealing with guns, stuff like that. Those kind of things makes that status change. But yes, if you are a juvenile, if you are convicted as a juvenile, it is sealed until you become an adult. Joe Morgan says they charge you as an adult at like 14. There's still only certain charges they can charge as an adult. I've had a few juveniles that were charged as an adult, and they committed a few murders, and that's why they were charged as an adult. So it's not every single felony that's going to get you charged as an adult out gate. Now, there are some felonies depending on your juvenile past. There are some misdemeanors depending on your juvenile past that will get you adjudicated as an adult. It just depends on your background as a juvenile. So you could be out here just stealing, and if it comes out that the total amount that you actually stole in a total of like 20 something thefts is $50,000, I could see them adjudicating you as an adult, because that's a lot of money to be stealing. You know what I'm saying? Especially when the only thing they're doing is slapping you on the wrist and letting you go back out to public. You know what I'm saying? So I think there are certain things that can get it changed to an adult depending on what the history of that person is. Yes. Arm Nerd says, does that mean that they can possess firearms if their records are sealed? Listen. For one, you have to be convicted of a felony to not be able to possess a firearm. That's the main thing. But conviction of a felony at the age of a juvenile is not an actual conviction of a felony, if you get what I'm saying. And if they are convicted of that crime, we're just going to be lamest terms because I can't even remember the term of it. But if they are convicted as a juvenile, that record will be sealed, and nobody can look at it. I can't even look it up. I don't even have access to a person's juvenile record. Nobody can look up that actual sealed document after you turn a certain age. So yes, they will be able to possess a firearm if they were in trouble or something like that, and it was a felony. They can possess a firearm after they become an adult. Now, there are some things that will make that not happen. A judge can say, no, we're not going to keep this sealed because it has to do with firearms, and he's already shown that, whatever. So some of the record can be unsealed for that purpose. But as long as it's sealed, so what I have to do what my department has to do is once somebody becomes, and you know what? Oh, you know what? I forgot. They just changed that law. They did just change that law. So now what has to happen is if an 18, 19, or 20-year-old applies to get a firearm, any jurisdiction that they lived in, they have to reach out to that jurisdiction to get any reports or anything that they might have gotten with that juvenile. So, I mean, with that 18 to 20-year-old. So, what happens is, so I just got it. I mean, literally, it happened last week. I got this call last week from the FBI, and they called me and said, "Hey, we're going to email you the new law on firearms and getting a firearm and all that stuff." And I was reading through it, and it said anybody between the age of 18 and 20, if they apply for a firearm, the FBI will be reaching out to you for a submittal of any interaction when it comes to that juvenile, or not that they're not a juvenile, but that person, right? And that means anything. If it happened while they were a juvenile or anything like that, that's what happens. Only problem is our system. If it is a juvenile and the case is closed and cleared, the system seals it. So I have to figure out a way to get it unsealed through the system. I can look at the name, I can look at the date and all that stuff, but it will not let me print. It won't let me do none of that stuff once the case is closed, if it's deemed as a juvenile case. So I can do it. I just don't know how to do it yet. So yes, that was a good question, man. That was a very good question. Dems are trying to change that. Yeah, they're trying to change a lot of things, man. especially when it comes to 2A. They're trying to make it a 21-year-old to get a gun, period. So yes, they are trying to change that. But like I said, like I was saying before, man, juveniles, I think they need the strong arm of the law. I think they need to be handled very, very stringent when it comes to juvenile law. I think they need to be put up in, some of them need to be put in cages, man, and left there until they become an adult. I mean, I don't know of no other way of saying it. Some of these kids out here need to be put in cages and just left there until they become an adult. You know what I'm saying? And I love kids, man. I love kids. I just don't like the ones that ain't managed well. They're just mismanaged. I don't like them. I don't like them. I can't stand an old smart ass kid, man. I can't stand them. That think that just because I'm not your parent, I can't do nothing to you. I can't stand it. That gets on my nerves so much. And I have to deal with it all the time. Now, I'm not saying that there ain't no good kids out there. There are some very good kids out there, very well mannered, very well disciplined kids. I have some kids now that are coming to me wanting to do an explorer program, wanting to be the police and stuff like that. In high school, wanting to be police. I have some in college that are wanting to be police officers, want to do internships at the police department, stuff like that. So I still have a little bit of hope for our society. But when it comes down to it, man, majority of these kids out here, man, they just, it's just bad, man. It's just bad. You know, especially when I was seeing those IG posts about that whole situation. That really, really bothered me. If you guys can tell, I am very bothered when it comes to this. I see it a lot when it comes to, like I said, the same thing happens when a police officer has to do his job and somebody ends up getting hurt. Same thing happens. But when we're talking about a child that does something and you're holding that child and saying that they didn't do anything wrong or that teacher did everything wrong because they had to defend the, what do you expect that teacher to do? Just sit there and take somebody trying to hit them? I don't think nobody would do that. I don't think anybody would do that. I don't even think the parent that's saying this would do it. And it's sad, man, because they know that if a child walked up to them and swung on them, it's lights out. Especially the person that made this post. The one person I'm thinking about that made this post. I ain't gonna say no names because I'm just not about that type of, vibe of trying to put people out there like that. But the same person that made this post, I know for a fact they ain't gonna let no teenage kid come up to him and hit him. Mr. Carter FX says, I think she got pushed to a breaking point. I hope she didn't. I really hope she didn't. I really hope she didn't. I hope the mindset of that female, that teacher, was I gotta defend myself. I really hope it wasn't a breaking point. I really, truly hoping it wasn't a breaking point because that child went way too far. The child went way too far. And I feel like if the only reason you're doing that is because you're at your breaking point, you're going to let too many kids run you over. I hope it was just one of those things, man. No, I'm not going to let this child come in here and assault me. She already is being very aggressive. She's already came around my desk. Now she's reaching for the phone and I'm pushing her away. Husky said it's like being hit by air to be hit by a child, I think. Hey, bro, listen to me. This is a high school. All right, Mr. Husky, let me tell you this. When I was in high school, I played football. I bench pressed almost 400 pounds. I was 5'9". I was 185 pounds. My position was outside linebacker and fullback. And I was a third string quarterback. I can tell you right now, my punch did not feel like no air. I'm sorry, but it didn't. Now, I ain't got the old man strength that I have now, because as your muscles age, they do get stronger. I ain't got the old man strength that I have now, but I'm telling you right now, it didn't feel like no air was hitting you. I've been in a couple fights, and it didn't feel like air was hitting you. So yes, if we're talking about elementary school kids, listen, if that teacher would have jumped on an elementary school kid, like the kid probably would have came up to her thigh. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid didn't, you know what I'm saying? And what elementary school kids are taking cell phones to school and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying nobody does, but I can guarantee you everybody in that classroom had a cell phone if it was high school. Everybody in that classroom had a cell phone. I was sending my girls to school with cell phones in 6th grade. They had a cell phone in 6th grade. But they only had their cell phone on the bus when they was going and coming home from school. That's it. They could not, if that cell phone was on in class and their teacher took it, they was for sure getting a butt whooping when they got home. Period. So yeah, you're right to a point. It might feel like air for an elementary school kid. But even middle school kids these days, man, I don't know what they feed them, but there's some middle school kids out here that are built like Greek gods on the football field. Like they ain't playing no games, man. These kids out here hitting hard in middle school. And at the age that I am now, I am 40 years old, about to be 41 in October, right? My poor little man bones can't take it. I ain't gonna let you do it. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to feel like it would fill out air. I don't care. You will be napping for a good little while if you come at me. I'm sorry. You will be taking your afternoon nap. See, Mr. Husky, he's simping for these kids. That's what he's doing. He's simping for these kids, man. Husky, you need to stop simping for these kids, man. These kids is terrorists. You hear me? These kids is terrorists now. Stop simping for these kids. So that's my view on it, man. That is my view. I don't feel like any child should be allowed to do any. And all this is over a cell phone, bro. My child, man, that kid should have said, okay, she got my cell phone. I'll get it after class. And then if they don't give it to you after class, go call your parents. Get your parents to come and get your cell phone. You know, the crazy thing about it is, I had somebody come to me and say, well, what if she was too scared to call her parents and she knew she was going to get in trouble for getting her cell phone taken, and that's why she did that? Here we go again. She shouldn't have had it out to get it taken. If she's that scared to get herself, have her parents come and get the cell phone, she should have never had it out to get taken. Period. What y'all need to understand, not y'all, but what people need to understand is all of this would have never happened if the girl wouldn't have had her cell phone out. Right? This would have never went this far if she would have never had her cell phone out. If she would have just kept that cell phone up, not bring it out. Well, everybody else had it out. Okay, but Everybody else didn't get their cell phone taken. You did. Don't do what everybody else do, because you're gonna be one getting caught. You know, I think that's why I got away with a lot of stuff I did as a kid, because I did it on my own by myself with nobody else around. I didn't want nobody else to know about what I was doing. I kept to myself. And I did some things like I ain't squeaky clean. You know, I did some things when I was a kid. I had a cell phone. I was probably one of the only ones in my high school class as a freshman that had a cell phone. But I worked for it. I worked for my cell phone, and I think that's why I was so protective of that cell phone. That's why I turned my cell phone off and I didn't bring it out in class, is because I didn't want my cell phone getting taken, knowing I paid the money for it. You know what I'm saying? So I had a cell phone. I know what it is to be in class and, you know what I'm saying, wanting to flex on your cell phone. Nowadays, it's not even a flex. All they want to do is just get on TikTok and all that stuff when they should be learning. Studies have shown that social media is highly addictive, and what we witnessed was an addict acting out. You may be right. You may be right. I still don't get it. Whatever the excuse may be, I still don't get. Now, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. The child acting that way does not surprise me. That just doesn't surprise me. I've seen it happen so many times. That doesn't surprise me. I'm talking about the reaction on social media. That's what surprises me. I want to talk about something else that surprised me. Let's move on to something else. So I'm gonna tell you guys the situation. I'm not gonna bring up the video. I'm gonna just tell the situation how I saw it. I was watching this live stream yesterday. Y'all know my boy Fatty. Fatty came. He's a member of the channel. You guys become members of the channel. It's only $2.99. Become a member of the channel. Look at the tiers if you want to holler at me for an hour or something like that. Want some advice, life advice. I'm a life coach too, guys. I'm a certified life coach. I've certified myself, so don't ask for a certification. I've certified myself, just to let you guys know. But I'm a certified life coach. Went to the school of Henry. That's me. But anyway, I was looking at this live the other day, yesterday actually. It was a panel of people on this live, and you know the jokes were going. People were calling each other fat, and you know one guy was saying your ankles are fat, you can't even hardly walk, and the other guy was saying, well, just meet me in a boxing ring, and the guy was like, well, you can't walk, you got fat ankles, and this and that. The guy says, I'll give you $100 to show your ankles. I will cash app you $100 to show you your ankles on live right now. If you do it right now, I'll cash app. So what did the guy do? He got up, showed his ankles. And the guy didn't pay up. He was like, F you, I ain't paying you nothing. Now, the thing that really bothered me about this whole situation was it was a panel of like 6 or 8 people. And there were 4 people laughing and saying, this is how we do in America. Because the guy that got shitted is from he's from another country. And they were like, this is how we do in America. And I was just thinking, no, it's not. People get killed all the time for not paying up on bets or dares. They get faded all the time for not doing. I mean, come on now. AR guns, what's going on, man? But this is what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of things that I have seen on this social media, YouTube venture and stuff like that. I think that's one of the reasons why I had to step away from it, because there was a lot of drama going on before when I was stepped away the first time. Like I had to take some time off. There was a lot of drama going on. And I'm just not a drama-filled person. I hate drama. I can't stand it. It's just one of those things. It's like I don't want to have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have nothing to do with the drama. You guys have seen it. I cut jokes. I say jokes. I've picked at people, but when I start seeing them getting a little upset or taking it personal, I step back because I don't want that drama. I don't like the drama. I don't want the drama. I deal with enough drama at work. I don't, it's just not me. So I had to step away for a little bit when all that drama was going on with a few of the YouTube channels that I was trying to befriend. I wouldn't say associated with, because I didn't associate with any really gun tuber. I would just go in there, show my face, talk a little bit, cut some jokes, and I'll be out. You know what I'm saying? We talk. But I saw some drama going on that I just didn't like. And then when the drama hit, it was like, yo, all the gloves were off. Why are y'all doing all this stuff, man? This is not a good look for you. Chill out. It's not that serious. It's really not that serious. Y'all won't ever see me go at somebody like that. I'll laugh, I'll cut jokes. But the drama, for less than $100. Listen, man, if a dude told me, no, I'm not even gonna say a dude. If anybody said, hey, Diesel, show your feet for $20. Bruh, I'm showing them. I'm sorry. That was for free. $20? Come on, man. That ain't nothing. For feet? Bruh. I mean, it's really nothing. He dared him. He did it. He didn't get paid. I think it was wrong. I think it was totally wrong. Now, I will say this. I kind of expected it from the person that was doing it. I kind of expected it because it was, hey, somebody send me $20 in my Cash App right now because y'all got that for free. Y'all need to pay up on that $20 now. Come on now. Anyway, so I kind of expected it from him, but still it was wrong. I expected more people to say, hey, man, that's wrong. You need to pay up. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon and they were like, aha, that's what you get. This is the American way. This is how we do in America. And it's like, yo, that ain't no representation of America. I'm sorry, but it's not. Human emotions take over jealousy, etc., and shame. You're right. You are totally right. You're totally right. I mean, how you gonna be jealous of somebody on YouTube? I just don't get it, man. You know what? It might be different for me because YouTube has always been a hobby. I could care less if I get money out of this thing or not. It just so happens I am getting paid, right? But I could care less. I got a job. I'm living okay. I'm able to pay all my bills. I have fun at work. I still love my job. Those kind of things. Daryl Long, you still ain't clicked on that link. You still ain't clicked on that link, Daryl Long. So don't be talking in my chat. You ain't gonna click on the link. I'm just playing. Daryl Long, you know you good people here. Native girl, what you done about my feet? Girl, you know you like them feet, girl. Don't even act like that. But yeah, I don't see how anybody can be jealous of somebody on YouTube. I just don't see it. There are so many fake lives on YouTube that people show the fake of the fakest of what's going on in their life in YouTube, man. There has been so many times. Okay, so this is what I will say. And I don't care if y'all know it or not. There have been 2 guns on this channel that I said were mine because I was ordering them, but I hadn't gotten them yet. And somebody let me use theirs so I could do a review on it. The gun wasn't actually mine. I was getting one, but I wanted to do the review on it as if it was mine because I was getting it. You know what I'm saying? So there's been 2 guns that I've done reviews on that weren't actually mine at the time. So what? You still got a review, right? But so many people hang on the word of somebody on YouTube once they find out that they didn't tell the whole truth. It ruins their whole life. I got another review coming up. I had a company send me an AR-15 I'm going to do a review on, right? And I was thinking maybe I was going to just say it's mine because, you know, I didn't want nobody getting jealous that I'm still having people. I've been gone for so long. I still got people sending me guns. But no, I'm going to go ahead and tell them it's a sponsor. This company said, I'm sitting here looking at it right now in the box. Matter of fact, hold on, let me get the box for you. Y'all can see my messy man cave. Oh, here goes the box right here. I ain't gonna tell you what company. You're gonna have to look at the review. But anyway, you probably see the company. Listen, man, this YouTube stuff is not that important to me. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the YouTube stuff. I love doing the reviews and all that stuff. But the jealousy stuff, man, I ain't. Jay Wood says, how are Canics? Canics are phenomenal. They're very good guns. You won't be upset with it. You won't be upset with it. Canics are real good guns. Brian, now you ain't gonna blame. See, the thing about it is people want to throw blame. I don't know if you're married or not, but if you are, don't get me in trouble with your wife. I didn't do nothing. That's all you, buddy. You bought those guns, not me. So yeah, jealousy runs rampant on YouTube, man. I didn't realize it was like this. Every single community that I went to, and I told you guys when I was out, I was taking my hiatus away from the 2A community for a little while. I went over to another community where we would talk about, you know, certain stuffs in the Black community about, you know, things that we didn't like. And, you know, the only reason I really would show up is when they started talking about the relationship with the Black community and law enforcement. And then I would have a conversation. That's usually when you would see me show up on these channels. Right? But even now to this day, like there's drama going on in that community now. And it's like, why? It's like a soap opera. It is so depressing sometimes to see these people go back and forth and knowing that it's just because you're jealous or it's a miscommunication of something, or just I mean, like in the real world, this stuff would not be happening. The way these people talk to each other on YouTube, they don't talk like that in real life. It won't happen. I can guarantee you it would not happen. The way I've been spoken to on YouTube, like people get mad at me because of my opinion, and then they tell me that they're gonna pull up on me. And I'm just like, bro, you have no idea. They don't know me from this area. They don't know me from this side of YouTube, right? They don't know that you know, they might be from somewhere that, you know, regulates guns, California, New York, or something like that. So they're not used to people having guns. So they don't know really what they're saying. So when somebody would start talking like that, all I would say, well, man, come on, man, calm down. It is really not that serious. If they kept on, I'd be like, listen, man, I am too scared. Stop. but that would piss them off even more because they knew I was just, you know, saying whatever. I just don't get it, man. What's the word? What's that saying? Fuck around and find out. Yeah, buddy. Pulling now, they did know I was a police chief. They didn't know that because a lot of the questions would come when it came to law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? They would ask me those kind of questions, and I would let them know. I am a chief. I've been in law enforcement for however long, and then they would start trying to listen a little bit what I was saying. But a lot of people they just didn't agree with what I was saying. They are. I have mostly CZ, but I would buy a Kennick. They're great guns. Yes, Kennick. I wish I could have bought more Kennicks, but I wanted to get a variety. There was some times where some Kennicks came out and they were just clones of prior Kennicks, and I just didn't feel like it was worth getting. But I got all the Kennicks that I want right now. I do want to get one more Kennick, and that's that last one that came out. But you know. Jay Wood, appreciate super sticker. Keep up the good work. I own an SFX, but was looking at a Meta, looking for a short barrel. SFX is nice. Mete, I think it's a Mete, ain't it? A Mete. The new one is the shorter barrel, ain't it? Listen, you cannot go wrong because okay. So the thing about Kennick is they are a clone of the Walther, right? And if you've shot a Walther, out the box, Walther hands down, and I say this all the time, has one of the best triggers in the game right now. Like it is hands down one of the best triggers that you could ever have on a gun out the box, right? But Kennick, it's a toss-up between Kennick and the Walther. It is a total toss-up because the Walther PDP. No, the Walther PDQ. I think it's the Walther PDQ is one of my favorite guns. I don't carry it, but it is one of my favorite guns. But that Kennick SFX Elite Combat, the trigger on that is crazy. And I've shot them both side by side, and I cannot, for the life of me, I can't determine which one's better than the other. Because sometimes I'll shoot one good, and sometimes I'll shoot the other one better. Talking trash about the Cowboys. Hey man, you can't help but talk trash about the Cowboys. Big Easy, yep, that's what I just said. They are the clones of Walther. They are. They're not pretty much. They are the clones of Walther. All right, you guys, we got a special guest here. We got a special guest here. Hold on. And his name is Simp God. Daryl Long Simp God. The reason why we call him Simp God is because Daryl, you want to explain why you the Simp God?
I mean, they call me the Simp God because I defend women against these bandit talking points that exist in the manosphere. And as like a community activist where I don't usually see Black men participating in, I think it's backwards to have conversations about community activism if it starts with Black women's submission. At least that's my thought process.
Anyway, so Daryl, the reason why I wanted to bring you up is because did you see the video I was talking about earlier?
No, I didn't get a chance to see. I've been editing and doing some other stuff, but I didn't really get a chance to see it. Admittedly, I did not.
It was. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up again. All right, so it was this video of this teacher and a kid. Did you see this?
No, you did not keep nobody else's phone.
Oh yeah, that's when the teacher got into a fight with the young girl about her phone.
Right. And what I was saying about this was, I don't think the teacher was wrong. I wish the teacher would have mollywopped that chick.
I mean, yeah, in that situation, the young lady hit her first, right? Let's keep it a being.
Yeah.
The young lady ran up on her. She was already breaking rules that are set by administrative people within the school board, right? In my opinion, children got to be taught not to behave like this at home, right? It's the same thing. There's like, we got gang squad here in Detroit, right? And you can act however you want to act with them, but they will respond accordingly. So if you respond to them, yes, sir, I have no narcotics, sir. You can check my car, sir. Do whatever you want. They more than likely you're going home safe. But if you're behaving like she's behaving, being belligerent and unruly, and another thing, it was another woman too. So yeah, I don't really feel bad for her. I feel bad for her parents, for them to be in a situation where, you know, on one hand you have to want to protect your child, on the other hand you have to hold them accountable for putting themselves in that situation. Why do you have your phone in the middle of like a classroom setting using it, right? When we was growing up, you couldn't even have your phones in school. Like your phone got to be turned off and everything. So the fact that she decided that she wanted to run up on a teacher, an adult, take her phone back, and then like she couldn't wait to the end of the class period, which was probably a 1 hour long. You feel me, Diesel? To me,
Right.
she was out of line. She was out of
Well,
line.
see, and the reason why I brought this up is because this reminds me of so many situations where law enforcement might have to do something that might get somebody hurt in the long run, might take a life, something like that, right? And the posts that I've seen on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram is the only thing I'm on. It's Facebook and Instagram. They ignore the first 17 seconds of this video. Only thing they focus on is the teacher putting her hands on that student, right? They don't talk about the student coming around the desk. They don't talk about the student getting up in her face. They don't talk about the student actually swinging first. Only thing they talk about is the teacher putting her hands on it. And so the reason why I was the reason why I'm talking about it today is because it's the same thing that happens when it comes to an officer involved shooting or officer, they say, used excessive force or something like that. They don't talk about what led up to that situation, right? They ignore that. And that's what I have a problem with when it came to the social media posts. It's like, y'all ain't even talking about the fact that the child came around the desk. When the child came around the desk talking junk, I think the teacher should have been like, no, we gonna handle this. You know what I'm saying? Like the teachers are held at their hands are held behind their back so much with these kids. You know, and that's another thing that I said also before was I would rather put 15 felonies on a child that's going to be let out when they turn an adult than put one felony on an adult that is going to have to serve 15 years in jail, right? Any day, I would rather do that. Because at the end of the day, if the child goes through the justice system and sees the justice system and it doesn't play no games, they'll become an adult and stay out of the justice system. They're more likely to stay out of the justice system than get put back in the justice system. Because these kids these days are thinking that the justice system ain't shit. Because they go there, they get the slap on the wrist for doing something. They get put back.
They take a plea deal and they right back out, bro.
Yeah. They don't. Nothing happens to them, and they wonder why when they come adults they think that the justice system ain't shit. You know, so that's what I have a whole problem when it comes to societal justice and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I told you, like man, I'm really big into into the real community. So even when we was working with law enforcement here, I'm in Detroit now, but when I was back in East Lansing, I was still as involved. And as you know, we had that big shooting up there, right? Big shooting up in East Lansing. People was hurt. Some people was fatally hurt. So naturally, East Lansing police is already on edge. But after that, they became more on edge. And the conversations about defund the police happened again, and all these different things. Like I try to tell people, especially people who run with that mantra, defund the police, and we have to be very careful with that, because some people, when they're saying it, they're saying take all protection away, and that's not why that was started.
Right.
That was started to say we need police. Let's start there first of all. We need law enforcement. We need order. But what we also need is funding going to medical facilities and agents that can come out and perhaps be involved in situations where police are not. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the heat I see that police are getting, people don't know you guys are dealing with mentally unstable people who
There's a lot of
myself.
things that police deal with that we should not have a hand in at all.
Exactly. I concur, but y'all have to, because I mean, if you have a mentally ill person going around with a knife or something, who else are you going to call? Right.
Well, not even that, Daryl. I'm talking about even child custody issues. People call the police for child custody issues. Like, you need another number to call. Like, we shouldn't be involved in that. You know, that kind of stuff. And then you get to the mental health stuff, where I've already tried to submit to council and everything, a plan to where the hospital is responsible for mental health cases, right? Hospitals have their own security. They usually have their own security or their own law enforcement, one or the other. Why aren't these hospitals giving these papers to go pick up these mentally ill people? Because ultimately, when you think about it, right, law enforcement officers have to be trained in so many different things. Now you're putting on mental health, dealing with mental health, having to navigate that training, as well as all the other trainings with, you know, school shootings or whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? The hospital, only thing they have to teach them is how to deal with mental health. They can focus on that, and that will be it.
No, I 1,000% agree. I'm about to get out of here real quick because I gotta go pick up my daughter. But you know, the one thing I've always hated about the conversations I hear against police, because my argument is never against the officers themselves, it's against the system, the prosecutors. Right? Those are the people who, in my opinion, screw us over more than police officers when they're offering you know, these sentences that in my opinion, they don't always correlate to the crime. But at the end of the day, I think people focus on you guys more than the prosecutors, because they see you guys out in the public. They get to see you guys more in the community every day. Your face, your name, your badge. They see a prosecutor at Starbucks, don't even know who that is.
Right. You're right.
Don't even know this is the person who's really writing recommendations to the judge and the jury to put y'all away. So for me, that was more of who I try to communicate with, was the prosecutors, because they have more power, in my opinion, than almost any officer outside of the sheriff, maybe even him.
No, they have more power than the sheriff. Sheriff is the most powerful.
Absolutely.
The actual sheriff is the most powerful in law enforcement, but when it comes to the judicial system, it is the judge, then the prosecutor. Judge is the most powerful, hands down. But when it comes down to it, the prosecutor is right under the judge, because the prosecutor is usually the one that's, like you said, giving those recommendations to the judge of what the sentence should be. You know, because a judge, unfortunately, judges don't really do anything but listen and make a decision, right? That's all they do. They listen, they make a decision. They don't go off of what this law or this crime, what the time should be for this crime. They read what the prosecution thinks the crime should be, the time should be for this crime, right?
High key.
Right.
High key. That's what happened to me before I go pick up my daughter. That's what happened to me, man. I ended up serving 47 days, but the prosecution told them to give me 2 years. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was on a felony larceny charge, right? They ended up making it a grand misdemeanor or high court misdemeanor or something like that.
Right.
But the prosecution was on my head. It was like, we don't care if we don't have no proof. 2 years. And I was like, oh man, it's not good. My lawyer, Tony Moses, ended up getting me 47 days instead. So, but no, I know for a fact that the police is not the problem. It's the people who write the budgets for every police precinct or the city, and it's the people who are in the suits, like the prosecutors. Well, I will join after I get back, Diesel.
Okay. All right. Yeah, be good, man. Appreciate you coming up.
No, I will join more too. I appreciate you inviting me up, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. When I drop that link, man, if you want to come up, just come on up. I ain't gotta invite you. Just come on. You here. You family.
My guy. Thank you, Diesel. And be safe out there too, bro. Real talk.
Oh yeah, you know it.
All right now.
Snuggles, the link is pinned to the top, man. It should be pinned to the top of the chat. But yeah, talking more about what Daryl was talking about. Now he said something about the people that's making the budgets. I was trying to understand where he's coming from with that. The person that actually makes my budget is me. But the person that actually signs off on my budget is my town manager. And he tells me if it's too much money. You know, he's actually the one that says, you know, how much money I'm going to get for that year, right? But the town manager has no power in North Carolina. The town manager has no power into making these laws or anything. They're not, I mean, my town manager really has no knowledge of law enforcement at all, period, point blank. He's not a big law enforcement guy. He comes to me, he says, hey, this is what they're saying. Or he might see a clip or something like that online. And he says, hey, do you think this is right and why? You know what I'm saying? So like most of the time, the town manager gets his advice from what he can and cannot do from me. Prime example, the other day, town manager comes to me and says, hey, do you think I can get an escort onto these people's property? I think they're doing illegal dumping on their property. They have a dog and I don't want to get bit. I said, no, not no, but heck no. And he said, why? And I had to explain to him is once law enforcement is involved with no search warrant, law enforcement cannot force their way onto somebody's property. Technically, the town manager can't either. But since he is the town manager, he could be working on a code enforcement type of deal where he's trying to make sure code is enforced on that property, right? But once you come from a law enforcement point of view, we can't go and inspect or help inspect or anything like that, let alone there's a dog there that might bite that we might have to put down. That would cost the town so much money in a lawsuit. It is ridiculous. So no, we didn't want to go down that route. But because I'm the chief and he's the town manager, he came to me and asked me that. And he was like, okay, I get it. Ray, I didn't hear, man. I didn't hear. Did you hear what the new mayor of Chicago said about these young people ransacking the city? I did not hear that, man. Come on up and let me know what they're talking about. But can the town manager pull funding? Yes. The town manager can pull as much funding as he wants, man. The town manager came to me and he told me, hey, I'm taking $30,000 out of your account, out of your budget. And I said, oh, heck no, why are you doing that? And I can't say no. I mean, technically, we just have that kind of relationship where, you know, me and him we're on one accord, basically. I wouldn't say we're friends, but we are work buddies. I will say that. I will classify it as work buddies. I know for a fact if I mess up, he's gonna fire me. And he knows for a fact that if he does some bull crap, I ain't gonna have his back. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. But he said he's gonna pull $30,000 from my budget. The reason why is because he needed it and I wasn't using it. And I told him I could find something to use it for. And he said that's his point. He needed it and I wasn't using it. Let me look up and see what y'all talking about that. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Hold on, let me Chicago prepares for another team takeover. All right, so that's Joe Morgan sent me that. Let me go ahead. Y'all want to watch this? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to watch what they're talking about, this Chicago thing. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to see what they're talking about with the Chicago thing. Oh, we got a bunch of 1s. All right. Hold on. Let me get it ready. Let's do it.
The city are getting ready just in case hundreds of teenagers descend in the downtown area once again this weekend. Joni is live and she has the very latest. Good morning, Joni.
Good morning. There's going to be more police, more command staff, and perhaps more awareness this time around. Police already know that the teens have been talking about gathering downtown, maybe on Saturday night here at Millennium Park once again. But police say they are on it, whether it's here or it changes locations. And faith-based groups are also getting involved. The adults in Chicago have been trying to figure out why so many teens got rowdy and in some cases broke the law when they converged on downtown last Saturday. It's believed that most wanted to enjoy the nice weather and a night out with friends, but it escalated into fighting and vandalism. A group of pastors invites men of Chicago to walk on Michigan Avenue to be responsible adult role models for the city's youth.
It's our responsibility as men, certainly as families, to provide something positive that they can know that you can be a full-fledged person with worth and with value and so forth, and not give in to some of these negative, temptations.
So now we got to stop it so we don't get a copyright strike, okay? So this is the thing. I don't know exactly what happened when it came down to it. They said that the teens verged on downtown and just started fighting and all that stuff, and now they're wanting to. So let's finish watching this video. I had to stop it so we don't get the strike, but I want to finish watching this before I tell you. And I would like to, if somebody can drop a link on what the actual mayor said, because the question was from official. Did I hear what the mayor said about the young people ransacking the city? So if somebody can find the link about what the mayor said, let's go ahead and look at that. All right, let's finish this video.
Horace Smith is a pastor in Chicago, also on staff at Lurie Children's Hospital. He's a doctor, and so he's inviting other men to be great role models. They're going to start at Roosevelt and walk up Michigan Avenue to Wacker Drive at 6 o'clock Saturday. That's about the time that those teens are talking about gathering in the city. Reporting live, I'm Joni Lum. Now back to you.
Joni.
Do you have?
All right, so let me. Okay, I really need to see what the mayor said. All right, Joe Morgan just dropped that for me. I appreciate it, Joe. Let's see if all right. Let's do that.
Brandon Johnson was here today. It was a big day, and although his inauguration is still more than a month away, his speech today to the General Assembly seemed more like a campaign speech as he was looking to win votes from the lawmakers whose support he will need. But today, Johnson also addressing the chaos over the weekend in Chicago. Brandon Johnson with a very warm welcome from a joint session of the Democrat-controlled General Assembly.
I'm here today to establish a productive, collaborative, and energetic partnership to invest in the people of Chicago and the engine of this economy here in Illinois.
John,
hold on. No. So he's campaigning. I will say that he's campaigning, and usually they make these dumb stances or they lie when they start campaigning. Okay, so I think that's where this is coming from, but I still haven't heard what he said about
Johnson making his pitch for investments to deal with pressing problems for Chicago, including getting money for education and getting at the root causes of violence. He also talked of more funding for police mental health.
And the truth is, we do have shared values and shared challenges. We have seen the kind of crime and violence that has torn families and communities apart for too long.
But afterwards, Johnson speaking publicly for the first time about weekend violence that caused chaos in downtown Chicago and along the lakefront.
The violence.
What the? Hold on. on.
Weekend violence that caused chaos in downtown Chicago.
Look at this chick twerking on top of somebody's car. And he looked like he about to kick the windshield out. All right.
Going along the lakefront.
The violence that happened over the weekend and the violence that happens too many weekends and too many days, of course we don't condone that behavior.
Johnson denied he was sending mixed messages over the weekend in a statement where he said the violence can't be condoned, but also said it was not constructive to demonize youth. Today, he was doubling down on that sentiment.
So don't give people false choices. We get to do both, you all. It is well past due that we put an end to this dynamic that somehow not make it. Look, demonizing children is wrong.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We are going to demonize the demons. That's what we are going to do. And every single one of those kids down there was a demon. That's not saying every child is a demon, but every kid down there that was causing havoc, property damage, fighting, or whatever, they are a demon. Period. I cannot stand this sentiment.
We have to keep them safe as well.
How can you keep somebody safe that's not keeping themselves safe? Man, let me get this stuff.
Johnson pushing for investments in young people, including jobs, but also noting that there needs to be investments in police to give them the resources they need to keep people safe. Live at the Capitol in Springfield, Craig Wall, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Watch break.
Now, look. Look. Listen. That is I don't know, man. That's kind of sad, man. The thing about it is, when it comes down to it, is so let me say, if I make a statement, man, these kids out here, they are hellions. They are demons. They need to be put in jail. They need to be sitting in a cell. That's when I make a general statement like that. If you feel some type of way about me saying that, you probably got some demon ass kids. Because I know for a fact when people talk about that about kids, when they say those kind of statements, I know they ain't talking about mine. Mine don't act like that. So I have nothing to say. I don't have a dog in that fight. You know why? Because it ain't my kids. They're not the ones acting like that. If you have a problem with what I am saying, you got some demon ass kids, buddy. You got some demon ass kids. I'm telling you. Your kids ain't right. And you know it. That's why you feel some type of way. You know it. That's crazy. You got kids on top of cars twerking, jumping up and down. One of those cars was a Infiniti SUV. That ain't a cheap car. That is not a cheap car, right? I don't know exactly how much it is, but I could say it's close to $100,000 for that car. It's probably like $70,000, $80,000 for that car, maybe. That ain't cheap. Not when they mama's buying Kias. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But that ain't a cheap car, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. That is so crazy. Snuggles, why didn't you hit the link yet? Come on up here and talk to me. You said you wanted to come up and talk to me. Come and talk to me. Now, if you want to have a private session, you can pay the membership fee and get a private session. But right now, we can just talk real quick if you want to. If you want to come up here and join me on the live, it's pinned to the top of the chat. Anybody that wants to come on the panel and talk to me about this whole situation with these kids, come on and talk to me. I just feel like right now in society right now, we have more parents that aren't parenting their kids than that are. I think parents these days, my generation of parents, same age as me, are focused on being friends with the kids than being a parent. I think that's what the main problem is. If you ain't an adult trying to be a friend with a little teenage kid, you don't need to be friends with your teenage child. I am so glad I am not the chief of Chicago Police Department. According to the Census Bureau, Black children live in single-parent households, with most of them being headed by women. It's true. It's true. We need to address it and stop dancing around it. That's the thing about it, man. That's why I say I'm glad I'm not the chief. Because I personally would have went out there and tried to play. I'm not going to say I would have tried to play politician. But I would have tried to be politically correct without being politically correct. Because I would have called them kids demons. I probably would have said the same thing I'm saying now. If you got a problem with me calling these kids demons, it was probably your kids out there acting like a demon. That's probably what I would have said. And you know what else I would have said? The next time we're going to use holy water, and it's going to be called tear gas. OC spray. That's going to be our holy water for these demons. That's what we're going to use for these demons. We're going to spray them down with that holy water and watch them dance. That's what we need to do. That's crazy, man. What about beanbag guns that would get their attention? You know what? The beanbag gun is not used for those kind of situations. I don't think it should be used in those kind of situations. I think tear gas, that's enough. I think tear gas would have been enough. OC spray would have been enough to disperse the crowd. Beanbag should be used for situations of somebody that may have a knife or somebody that is being very combative that, you know, one way or another, you got to subdue them. When it comes to kids, I find that my interaction with kids, and as law enforcement, not as a teacher or anything like that, but my interaction as kids is when they know they're in trouble, they go holler, they go hollering. They try to get away. They don't try to be combative or anything like that. They just try to get away. I've dealt with a few kids. I have yet to have an actual juvenile try to fight. You know, I've seen juveniles fight other adults, but I can't remember a time where I've seen an actual juvenile fight a police officer. And you know, I've seen it on video. I've seen it on social media videos, stuff like that. But as far as dealing with these kids in the school and stuff like that, now dealing with them on the street is a totally different situation. Dealing with them in big crowds is kind of like dealing with them in the schools, because it's kind of like the same kids they go to school with, stuff like that. So it's kind of like the same thing when it comes down to it. And like when I go out to a skating rink, there's a bunch of kids there, or a movie theater. We get called out to a movie theater with a call and stuff like that. And we show up and we start putting kids in cuffs. They start dispersing real quick. Diesel would have said, them kids gonna catch a fade. Hey man, listen, I don't condone it. I don't just say go and knock some kid out, but I will say this. If a kid want to ride that pony, they can get bucked. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. They can get bucked. You know what I'm saying? I know the census bureaus and all their statistics and all that stuff. And it does correlate. I've heard a lot, and I've heard a lot of arguments and back and forth about women raising kids and that being part of the problem. I have seen that a lot, but I don't want to comment on it as it being Bible, because I was raised in a single parent home for majority of my teenage years. Now, when I was younger, my father was there, but as I got older, you guys know I have a twin brother, and we ended up totally different. I ended up getting in law enforcement. He ended up doing something different. But we were raised by a single woman, and I saw the struggles that my mom had at the time with raising two growing boys. And like I told you, I wasn't no little boy. I wasn't a little boy. I didn't get that strong by going hungry. My mom fed me very well. And you can say somewhat that it is. You can say somewhat that it is the woman, or you can say somewhat that it is the actual person. I think that at a certain time, Shooting Gallery, what's going on, man? How you been? I hope everything is well, man. It's good to see you. You can say at the time, there's a time where a juvenile gets to a point where they're going to go their own way, regardless of what you taught them, how you brought them up. They're going to go their own way. They're going to do their own thing, and that's just what it is. And that's the same thing with me and my twin brother. Snuggles, yes, we are on the opposite sides of the law. When I was working DEA, I actually got a file on my brother. I didn't have the file. Another agent brought it to me and asked me about the whole situation. And what I did was I told him I didn't want to know anything about it. Don't come to me, do what you got to do, but I don't want to know anything about it. And the main reason of it was because if there ever came a question that they thought he had something on him, and when they got there, he didn't have something on him, they would have tried to blame me, saying that I let them know. And I didn't want that to be, even though me and my brother stopped talking for a while. Me and my twin brother stopped talking for a while. I just didn't want that to be there. So I told him I didn't want to know nothing about it. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to be involved in any of the investigation. Don't want to know nothing. Keep me out of it. Do what you got to do and keep me out. Shooting Gallery, it's good to see you, man. I'm good. I'm glad you're doing well. Man, you gotta invite me to your channel again. I want to come back live on your channel. I've been very busy with my job also, so it's one of those things. Hopefully, I would have the time to do it, but I do want to come back on your channel, man, and enjoy one of your lives with you. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, Joe Morgan, it is a conflict of interest. It was a huge conflict of interest. I just didn't want to be associated with it. I don't want to have any kind of association, especially, man, these police officers have a big ego. And if a search warrant don't work out the way they think it should work out, they like to blame people on why it didn't work out that way. And I didn't want to become nobody's blame. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't deal with it. So that's what it is with that. You know? Shooting Gallery, I appreciate that, man. Let me know when you get set back up, bro. You got my IG, so you let me know. All right, guys. So we've been on here for 2 hours. If nobody's going to come up and talk to me, get on the panel, man, we're about to end it. We're going to go ahead and end it. Nobody's sending stupid super stickers or cash apps or nothing like that. So y'all ain't paying me for my time. So we're gonna be ending it soon. If you ain't trying to come up here on the panel. Let me log. I don't even know if I got a cash app or not. I need to log in to see. Are there any other questions? Anybody else got any questions, man? So like I said, like we were talking about before, man, I want you guys to keep this in your mind, especially when it comes down to it. Let's advocate for the justice system being a little bit more strict, a little bit more heavy-handed. Keep these kids in check. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to advocate for that. And hopefully we can change the outcome as they become adults. That's what I'm hoping for. If we can do that, man, I think society would be, the outcome for society in the United States would be a lot better. You got a lot of different countries that they handle things a lot worse than they do here in the United States. Some places, if you steal, they cut your hand off. Some places, if you sell drugs, they kill you. They literally kill you. They hang you from the trees and they kill you. We don't have that here. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they don't have the problems we have with drugs. They don't have the problems that we have with larceny, mainly because of that point. I swear to gosh, that I don't know if y'all remember that kid that went overseas and got caned, and they had it. It was like national news. I can't remember where he went. You ain't heard of not one single American going back over there and stealing, have you? I wonder why. I wonder why. Keep that in mind, people. We're going to go ahead and end the stream, guys. I appreciate everybody coming. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you keep up with your boy Diesel. Like I said, the memberships are there, guys. If you want to become a member of the channel, officer, sergeant, or assistant chief, go ahead and sign up for it, and we can make this happen, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the live, man. We will holler at you later. I'm out.